Help me ducks, it's Simon here. Welcome back to the Hermit's Cave. So, yeah, I just thought I would do a quick kind of walkthrough first impressions of this deck, which is the Russian Tarot of St. Petersburg. It's by Yuri Shakov, and it's a US Games deck. It's been on my wish list for a while, and I was in two minds about it. I first saw it on Marsha's channel over at Musings by Marsha, and obviously Marsha is somebody who grew up in St. Petersburg, so it was a very special deck for her. And I saw it, I liked it, but I was unsure of whether I could actually live with all the borders and kind of fanciness around it. And then I saw it on Elaine's channel, Elaine Murphy, and yeah, she just talked about it, and she kind of focused on some of the detail in the images, and I really thought it was quite lovely. So I thought, well, it's not an awfully expensive deck. It's US Games, so I know I'm getting quality cardstock. I do love US Games cardstock. So I thought, well, I'll give it a go. I'll see. And if nothing else, it's a nice deck to have in my tarot collection. The box, it's just a tuck box. It's nothing fancy, but it's really beautiful with you can feel it's raised as well with this gold stamping on it. It's really quite beautiful. So as you can see, it says the Russian Tarot of St. Petersburg. And then on the side, a complete deck of 78 cards by Russian artist Yuri Shakov, renowned for the lacquer miniatures and flawless depictions of Russian folk and fairy tales. The miniature paintings in stunning colour are framed within an oval border against a black field and are reminiscent of imperial Fabergé eggs. Ah, okay, that makes more sense. The Russian Tarot of St. Petersburg is a treasure of symbolism combined with richness of superb art. And it's, yeah, really nice. And I get that now. I used to have, well, I only ever had one Fabergé egg. It was a Wizard of Oz Fabergé egg, and it got broken. I was gutted because it was one of those, and they were quite popular in the late 80s, early 90s, where if you got a certain magazine, you could buy a Fabergé egg and pay in installments. And I was, loved the Wizard of Oz. So that was one I decided to get. But as I said, it got damaged. So you get the title card, the Russian Tarot of St. Petersburg. Sadly, it would have been quite nice, or perhaps it might have been a bit too distracting. But if the gold that appears on the front of the box was also here on the cards, would have been quite nice. These are the backs, and they're quite lovely. I like them. So you've got all of the suits and elements, of course, represented here. You've got your cup, your pentacles, your wand, and your sword. And then you've got this kind of, I don't know if it's headwear, or even it might be, it looks like a helmet of some sort, like perhaps what a religious leader might wear. But it also looks quite remarkably like a building. And the Kremlin has all these different domes and different styles, which is quite a striking building. So it could even be from that. And then there is a nice card here in memoriam for Yuri Shakov. So he was born in 1957 and he died in 1989. Sorry, 1937, my eyes. Like I say, that doesn't make him very old at all. So, and there's a little bit about him there if you want to read about it. And the Russian Tarot of St. Petersburg is dedicated to Leo Najda. As I said, these are the backs. So this is really, really nice. I'll probably, you get a little book. Actually, for US games, that's not a particularly thick book. It is just 23 pages. Gives you some spreads at the back, 10 card spread there. And that's the only spread. It's basically the Celtic Cross. It is the Celtic Cross. They just called it the 10 card spread. So not a lot of information, but enough, I suppose. Cardstock is really nice because it's US games. Although it doesn't feel as thick as their usual cardstock, but it's still nice. Yeah, it's kind of more, kind of like Los Scarabeo cardstock. I thought it might be a little bit thicker like a lot of their decks. So let's just have a look. Let's zoom in. Okay, let's pop that there. And let's just have a look at these images. Like I say, this is just going to be a very quick walkthrough. I wasn't even going to do one really, but I don't see this deck mentioned that much. But yeah, here we have our Fool on the edge of that cliff, that rock face. We've got the little dog wrapping himself around his leg, actually really trying to get his attention. Elaine mentioned about the little jester puppet, which is exactly a kind of, it's a hand puppet, but it's wearing exactly the same attire as the Fool in the card here. So, and I think Elaine described it, you know, as kind of using that hand puppet to control your own actions, because this is a, you know, replica of himself. So that's quite lovely. So you don't get a lot of image because, like I said, and this was one of the things I was unsure about with the deck, there is a lot of border. It's beautiful though, and now I can see it as like this Fabergé egg design. I quite like that, and you get the title across the bottom. So here we have our Magician, which is really nice. We've got a lemniscate there with wings, but again, really beautiful. Got all his tools. He's got his wand in his hand, cup, pentacle, sword across the table. Really lovely. The High Priestess. Give her a scroll. Our Empress. I'm surprised we're not seeing the Empress as kind of outside. I mean, we get that sense with the design in her clothes. It's quite florally and, you know, lots of greens and earthy colours, but I suppose it's because they want to set all these images against this black background. Very Russian style building. Russian architecture there in the background for our Emperor. He's got his orb and scepter. The Hierophant. These beautiful birds flying. We don't have any supplicants or anything. I do love the kind of cityscape in the background. This, you know, showing all the kind of Russian buildings, really beautiful. This is a nice card. The Lover's card is stunning. Really nice. I like the fact that we've got the sun and the moon together there, showing those kind of opposites, but they're coming together. Chariot. Beautiful strength card. It's really lovely. We've got a windmill there, a 6-bladed windmill. Wow. Here's our Hermit, which is really nice. I like the continuation of a theme as well with these kind of rock formations. They appear in a lot of the cards. Fortune. The Taro Beautiful. Justice. So it's putting strength at 8 and justice at 11. So it's kind of following a RWS. Hanged man here. It's gorgeous. Look at this. I guess it's a peacock by the feathers and everything, but really beautiful. Death. Wow. It's incredible. This face, look, it's kind of decaying. It's got skull around the eyes and nose and jaw, but then you've got the mouth still with a moustache and everything of this kind of transition. And again, we've got these rocky kind of terrain here, quite bleak. Temperance is beautiful. Wow. Oh, there's a devil. He's ripped. Yeah. Interesting tattoo, look, with the, I don't know if you can see it there. Let me bring it up closer. But the heart, the arrow through it. It's beautiful. And we have the tower. The star. I'll probably edge this. I mean, the temptation would be to go for gold, but actually I think that bringing out the black on the backgrounds, because it's black at the base here and black on the front. So I think a black actually, plus it'll be easier. I think it'll be quite nice. I love the moon. I think the moon is beautiful. We've got everything, you know. We're in a little boat here. A little Viking boat. We've got the crustacean, the two canines, the towers, the moon. I love to see faces in moons and suns. Here's our star. Judgment. Quite traditional Russian religious art. Wow, and there is our world card. Okay, so we're starting with the courts. I'm assuming we're working backwards then. 10, yeah, we're working backwards. Often see that in decks in the way that they're arranged. So let's bring this a little closer. And I'll go faster through the minors, just so you can get an idea. Oh dear. I thought she was a mermaid for a second. The detailing is really nice. It's very traditional. You know, if you're used to reading RWS, this won't be a challenge. There's that choppy waters. That ace is beautiful. I do love to see Russian architecture. In fact, I love lots of Eastern architecture. They actually look like they could be resolving that without violence. You don't get any numbers on the cards because they're written, so there's no Roman numerals like there is with the majors. Love that. There is a castle in the air. Ten of Cups. I love the flag representing the rainbow. It's really lovely. All the different options. Love their costumes. So traditional. As I say, I think the only thing that could have been improved is perhaps if it had a metallic border. I know a lot of people, if it was gilded in some way, a lot of people might be distracted by that, but with our Nine of Pentacles. Interesting take on the 5. I like it though. And our ace. I love the aces with these kind of floating cities and buildings. That is really lovely. So that's the Russian Tarot of St. Petersburg. Like I say, one that's been on my wish list for a long time, and I never pulled the trigger or decided to get it, but really glad that I have now. So yeah, really lovely. I'm really impressed with it. It is an absolutely beautiful deck, and as I've said before, I'm now in a position really where I'm only looking to bring decks into my collection that add something new and that is quite unique, with the exception of course of RWS decks. I do collect RWS decks, as you know, but this deck does that. You know, it's quite unique. I don't have any other Russian decks. It's very beautiful, but yeah, I really like it, so I'm glad to finally have ticked it off my wish list. All right, guys, well, thank you for watching. And yes, until next time, I'm just trying to think when I'll be back on. It'll be a quarantine stream in the week, I'm sure. But yeah, go in peace. Namaste and blessed be.